The power of being petty. I got a little personal life tip story to share with you that I meant to get to yesterday, but I kind of ran out of time, but it fits in perfectly today because there's a viral video story to talk about where a lady, and I'm not sure where it was, I think it was in the Midwest somewhere, and it was coming off Instagram, so I don't know the location. Talk about petty. She paid off her $75 parking ticket with 7,500 pennies. Get your reaction on that one, too. A little bit of news to talk about as well. What the heck is this big Trump announcement? If he ever writes another book, it's going to be the art of the tease because he's perfecting it. And there's a method to the madness, I think, because he gets more attention that way, and he gets like 3-4 days of play in the news cycle instead of like just one. We'll talk about that. And a reminder about that real ID rule that goes into effect today. If you're flying today, and you don't have that real ID handled already. And in Florida, with mine, it's a little star in the corner. I've had it for a while. We've had to get it for a while. It's going to be a big delay at the airports, so we'll talk about that as well. But first and foremost, thanks for being here. Thanks for finding Wicked Radio, the live stream version of Wicked Wisdom with Bill Adams. Do me a favor. Go on the other platforms because, especially on Facebook, where you find Wicked Wisdom with me, we're going to turn that into a community to make it more, I think, interactive. And to do that, and as I know, I hear you, Facebook is a pain as well. I get it. I go through it as well. But it's still good for building communities, and it's still where most people go. It really is. I mean, Meta is a joke. That is the worst designed app. Just a Facebook app, if you're still on it on your phone, it's awful to try to deal with. But that's where most people are still. So go on there, join and like and follow and all that good stuff. Do me a favor on that, and we'll build that community up as well. YouTube as well, and on X, always where the replays are, and the audio version of the podcast posted just as soon as we get off here, and all that other good stuff. All right, let's get to it. All right, little personal Wicked Wisdom tip of the day for you from my personal life yesterday. And I meant to get to this yesterday, but it fits in perfect today, which things seem to come in themes, don't they? Well, let's talk about pettiness. What nobody ever wants to tell you, for some reason, nobody ever talks about this, is how effective being petty can be. Because I guess it's not acceptable in polite society. I guess. I don't know. And I think the reason why is pettiness is just a nice way of saying being an asshole. It's just a fact of the matter. It's just true. It just is. Doesn't mean it doesn't work in certain circumstances. Because when you're faced with a stupid rule, something that's, yes, technically correct by the letter of the law, but it's getting in the way of you getting something done, and it could be easily overlooked. It's just a technicality. It's a formality. Being petty in that circumstance is really effective. It just is. Let me explain what I went through. Like I said, I meant to get to this yesterday, but it's perfect timing to talk about it now. You know my story. I've been talking about this like for now. Oh, my God, this is like a week I've been up here. In New York City because my daughter's surgery and everything's going great. And she's discharged out of the hospital and we're flying home hopefully tomorrow and all that good stuff. Discharge day, the day before yesterday, which is one of the most stressful things like ever if you've ever gone through it. And that we're so blessed. My family hasn't had to deal with a lot of hospital things at all, except for this one with my daughter's. Yeah, it's a spinal surgery thing and everything went great. So, but you discharge. And they have to bring you down in a wheelchair. So I have to go downstairs to deal with that. I have to get that ready while I'm ordering the Uber outside. The Uber guy is waiting, and cabs 3 deep are honking at him because I have to he has to wait in a certain spot to get the wheelchair in. I have to go grab her real quick. I have to do, I've got some luggage with me. Whatever. It is what it is. 99%, I think I told you this, 99% of the people I dealt with at this hospital were unbelievably fantastic, like superheroes. I don't even know how they do what they do. At the worst possible time, at the worst possible moment, I deal with the biggest tool bag you could ever deal with in that situation. It's just a persnickety little doofus at the front who says, Sir, you can't go up there. There's only 3 people allowed in the room. Now, mind you, that's true. That's a rule. It is. It's just he's right. He's right about that. All week, that's not been a problem. All week, there's been no problem whatsoever, and they've been extremely helpful. This one idiot who just started his shift makes it a problem. I had to contact the Uber guy, and he said, look, I can't get up there right now. Just go. We'll call for the next one, whatever it is. And you got to arrange for like a special one that'll fit in, somebody with a lot of like cushioning because the bumpy roads in Manhattan. So I'm like, all right, no problem. I text my wife. I said, this is going to be a little bit, but give me a couple of minutes because I'll handle up on this. So I said, argue with him. I told him it's not been a problem. Wouldn't budge. Wouldn't let me up. Wouldn't let me up to discharge my daughter. I need 1 minute to get up an elevator and get her out of there and get her out of this hospital. Fine. Sorry. So I said, fine. That's okay. So I just stepped to the side where the front desk is in a massive building. Sir, you're going to have to stand over. You can't stand there. I didn't respond. So I just stood there. Security guy was fine. He was fine. I wasn't causing any problems. So I'm just standing there and staring at him. He's giving me side eye, looking at me back and forth, because I'm going to wear him down. I just am. I'm a master at pettiness. He deals with one person, another person through his line, another person. Finally got so sick of me standing there, staring at him. If I said, okay, sir, just go ahead and up. Go ahead and go up there. My pettiness in that situation, I knew was going to work, because I don't think he had the mental toughness to deal with somebody that was going to stare at him the whole time. Just doing nothing, just staring at them, waiting, right? It worked. Now you're thinking, well, Bill, you're just being kind of an asshole. The guy's just doing his job. And you're right. But like I said, nobody ever wants to say this. Pettiness is a nice way of saying you're being an asshole. And was I being an asshole in that situation? 100%. But I needed to get through with that. Moral of the story and the wicked wisdom tip of the day is, when you're dealing, and this only applies when you're dealing with a stupid rule that is getting in your way of something you need to do, that could be easily be overlooked. Like, don't do this when, for no reason whatsoever. The takeaway is, it works. There's power in pettiness when you have to use it. Perfect example, and this is why I wanted to talk about this today. It ties in. Did you see this viral video of a lady, and they don't say where, because I think this one came from Instagram. She had a $75 parking ticket. And I don't think I've ever been this petty, to be honest with you. This is a whole new level. But again, it worked. And she shows up at the parking place, which was a private entity. You know how a lot of cities and counties use like private towing services, and you got to go there and get your car out and pay the fee and whatever the hell it is. She obviously had a beef with whatever her parking ticket was for $75. And she rolls in with 7,500 pennies. I've never been that petty. But again, let's see if it works. So here she is, dumping it out on the counter. We'll get to the clerk attendant in a second. Dumping it out onto the counter, paying her thing. Now I don't blame him at all. It's not his fault. He comes out, this is the guy that works there, and he says, "Man, we don't have a counter on here, so they can't accept it." Her response? Legendary. Petty? Oh God, yeah. But legendary. This is what it sounded like.
I have a counter here they want to set it.
Okay. Well, here's what I'll do. Do you have a, I can see, use this pen. Here. Can I see the ticket for a sec? Mm-hmm. All right. So if there's any problems, you're more than welcome to call me. But as of right now, the payment's been made.
$7,500. It's $75. There you go. See you later. See ya. Call me if you have a problem. Now, again, like my situation in the hospital. Well, you're just being an asshole. True. Oh, I don't think, I admit it, and I think she would admit it too. No doubt about that. And I know a lot of the comments on this video, which now has like hundreds of thousands of hits. A lot of the comments are, it's not the clerk's fault. It's not his problem to deal with it. Oh, I understand that, but it's probably not her fault either. And whatever this parking ticket was, who the hell knows? Because let's be honest, a lot of this stuff is just a scam for the county or city or municipality to make a lot of money, whatever. Bottom line is, I guess the follow-up to this story was, it worked. It's cash. A coin in my pocket isn't good anymore just because you don't have a counter? She's exactly right. So was it petty? Was it a pain for that clerk and that worker to have to deal with that? Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. But here's my question for you. Was it effective? Yeah. Yeah, it was. Nobody ever wants to tell you that. But sometimes, and only sometimes in certain circumstances, when you're dealt with a bullshit rule, you acting shitty works. That's the power of pettiness. I'm just telling you. Sometimes it applies, especially in a high-pressure situation. All right, there's some news to talk about. What the heck is Trump teasing with this? Did you see this? It could be anything. And Poly Market, the online betting, they do like current events betting. They have all kinds of different things. We're going to come up with our own. When he was meeting with the Prime Minister of Canada, that new guy, and oh boy, was that a power play. Trump did that thing where he met him outside the White House in the carport thing, and he's shaking his hand for like 15 minutes and pulling a board and, treating him like a little kid brother. I thought he was going to like pet him on the head for a second there. That's a classic Trump move. But so is this now. Art of the deal, if he ever has time to write another book. It's going to be Art of the Tease. He does this a lot now, and it's really good. It's really effective. Now, a lot of people get all bent out of shape because they're so focused on Trump the showman, the obnoxious things he says, the insults, the teases, the different things, compared to, the leader, the administrator, right? If you get caught up in the Trump showman, he's going to drive you insane. That's my theory. I think a lot of the people with Trump derangement syndrome, they only see the show of it. But he does it for a reason. Now, with this tease that he said, and I'll get to here in a second, he gets 3, 4, 5 days of the news cycle instead of just one, where whatever the hell he's talking about actually happens. I think that's why he does it. Anyway, this is what the tease sounded like just yesterday about some kind of a big announcement. You and I are going to make our own guess as to what the hell he's talking about.
I think before then we're going to have a very, very big announcement to make, like as big as it gets, and I won't tell you on what, but it's going to, and it's very positive. I'd tell you if it was negative or positive. I can't keep that out. It is.
He said it's going to be a biggest announcement of all time. Nobody said it could be done. It's unbelievable. Everything's big hype and, big and boisterous and whatever it is. Like I said, he gets the attention that way to whatever he's talking about. He gets more eyeballs focused on him. That's why he does it this way, because he's a promoter. He's basically a television marketer is what he is, and he understands how to do that. He understands how to negotiate and get attention to whatever he's going to do. So there's a bunch of guesses on what this is. He said it's a very big deal and very positive for this country. Didn't necessarily say our country, but he's America first, so it's going to be us. Could be a bunch of different things. Poly market, which is always fun to follow. You can lay odds, and they make their own odds, and you can bet for or against it on all kinds of world events, like the new pope. They have betting odds on the new pope, or they're big on elections, or if things are going to pass, whatever it is. They've got their own ideas. You and I will come up with it. What could this trade deal be? Oh, I kind of snuck it out there. I think it's a trade deal with somebody. I think it's a trade deal with China, maybe. But he's making this announcement before he says that the trip to the Middle East. I guess he's going to the UAE. Maybe it's an oil deal. Maybe. Could be. Maybe it's something about tariffs with China, but I think maybe it's an oil deal. That would make sense. With the UAE or Saudi Arabia, maybe. Could that be? Maybe we're buying Greenland. Maybe that 51st state thing's going to happen after all. But it's not Canada, it's Greenland. I have no idea. Maybe it's some sort of like geopolitical, strategic kind of thing, maybe. Reykjavik's beautiful this time of year. I don't know. We'll see. But let's lay our own odds on what this actually could be. Maybe he's really running for Pope, like the meme says. Somebody made up that meme, and the White House official account posted it. He says, "Yeah, you know what? Maybe I will. I'll put my name in the hat to run for Pope." Possibly talking about Chick-fil-A open on Sundays. Maybe that's it. I have no idea. Could be fun. I think it's going to be big. I think it's going to be serious. Here's my guess. I think it's going to be an oil deal, because all of this stuff he's talked about fixing the economy and getting out of this debt spiral that we're in. He's talked about all coming from energy prices. So if you knock the cost of fuel production, imports down, maybe that's it. My second guess is some kind of a tariff deal, trade deal with China. I don't know. We'll see. I'll say this. I swear to God, if this is one of these frickin' Trump organization coin announcements again after all this, I'm done. Oh my God. Remember that? Because I think it was the last time he did this, where he teased something, and this was only online. It wasn't at an official White House event, where he teased a big announcement, and everybody was all excited about it. This is during the campaign, and it was for the Trump coin, or it was a meme coin or something. Oh my God. If he ever does that, I'm out on the teases. I'll never listen again. But I don't think that's going to happen. Who knows? But again, the takeaway is Art of the Tease. He's going to get people talking about this for like 5 days ahead of time. So we'll see what happens with it. I don't know. Maybe not. Here's another reminder of what's going on today. And this is the day. It's May 7th. Real ID has to be implemented. They've actually talked about this for years, that it's happened. This kind of struck me as odd, because I kind of thought at this point in the game, everybody had this. I've had it for a long time. In Florida, my home state, we've got a little star in the corner of the thing. I don't know. I've had it for a while. But it could be a nightmare if you didn't jump on this and you have to fly from today on. So here's the little write-up. And we'll get to what I think this is really all about why they're cracking down on this now in a second. Here's my write-up I found on this. If you don't have one, it's going to be tough. TSA is saying if you're over 18 and don't have real ID, you got to get to the airport at least 3 hours early. Oh, God. That right there should get you handled up on this because that's awful. Maybe we all have to get to the airport. Maybe I'll have to get to the airport tomorrow even earlier because people will be screwed up by this. I don't know. You'll be subject to delays, additional screening. You should also bring, they say, this is coming from the TSA, as many forms of ID as possible to make it through security checkpoints, okay? A few acceptable real IDs, and this is where it gets weird. State-issued enhanced driver's license. That's, the thing where they had a little stamp of real ID on there. A U.S. passport or passport card, okay? DHS trusted traveler cards. Global entry, Nexus, Sentry, or Fast, all right. A U.S. Department of Defense ID, that makes sense. A foreign government-issued passport. A Canadian driver's license. What? All right. A transportation worker identification credential, U.S. citizenship, immigration, employment authorization, U.S. merchant, a veteran health identity. Okay, here's the bottom line. You got to get this real ID thing. I know a lot of, and everybody's personal identity and digital privacy is their own choice. I totally get that. Believe me, I'm with you. I'm just telling you, it's going to be, they are cracking down on this. I think Kristi Noem, the Department of Homeland Security Secretary, gave up the goods. I think this was Fox and Friends yesterday on the real reason why, after all these years, they're cracking down on this. I think it has to do with election security. This is what she said. I think she gave up the big hint on what this is all about. This is from yesterday when they were asking her, but she's been talking about this thing for months. But this is what she said in the middle of the interview.
There's 19 states right now that issue driver's licenses to illegal aliens.
Wow.
If we make sure that they're real ID compliant, it helps us get to election integrity as well.
I think we found it. I think that's what it's about. Personally, if that's what it's all about and securing these elections and election integrity, I'm in. I'm for it. I know that it's a pain. I know that people are saying it's just a one step closer to the chip implanted in your head and they can control you. I don't know, whatever. I don't think they're, you know what? Whenever I hear a lot of those kind of conspiracy theories, I don't think the government's capable of that. They're not smart enough for that. But your privacy and your digital security is your choice. Big picture, if this cracks down on illegal voting, personally, I'm in. And I've had it anyway. I don't know. I think we had to in Florida. I don't know what it was. But just a reminder, just a little tip there. Because if you're going to be flying anytime soon, they are cracking down on this. They're deadly serious about it. So get real ID. Takeaways today. Thanks so much for hanging out with me again. The Wicked Wisdom takeaway. Pettiness, although kind of assholey, works in certain situations. And if you're just joining us, but only certain situations where you're dealing with a rotten, petty rule. Don't just be that way all the time. And that real ID thing, I don't know. And if you have any other ideas on the comments about what this Trump tease is all about, put them in the comments. I'd love to see what you think. I don't think he's running for Pope, but we'll see. I think it's a trade deal. I don't know. Thanks for finding me, as always. Wicked Radio live stream, part of Wicked Wisdom with Bill Adams on Facebook. Like and join that, by the way, would you? It's on YouTube and on X here. Like, follow, download on the audio podcast, which the version of this we just went through is always on there every single day, your favorite podcast platforms and all that good stuff. So tomorrow's a little dicey for me. Pretty sure I can still do the live stream, but we have a checkout and a flight to get onto, speaking of real ID, but I should be on here again tomorrow, but we should be good to go, though. Thanks for hanging out with me through another random conference room in New York City. Cannot wait to get home to Florida and get home to my studio. That's going to be awesome, but you've been here all along, so I appreciate it so much. With all that said, have a wicked, awesome midweek. Get that real ID handled up on, no matter what your choice is, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.